Hello, good evening, all. Hello,
Good evening.
am I
Good, e-
audible? Good evening.
good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. So let us start. I hope you have gone through the contents of eighth week. So I'll be presenting my screen. We will solve some of the questions related to the concepts, WordNet and word sense disambiguation that we saw in the lectures. So, okay. Welcome everyone to week 8 of live sessions on natural language processing. So today we will be solving the some sample questions that will help you to solve the assignment questions as well as understand the concepts that are discussed. So please attempt this question, and this can be multiple option correct, like more than. So this is a multiple option correct question. More than one option can be correct in this, like A and B, B or C, C and D, A, C. Any combination can be correct. So you try to attempt this question and put your answers in the chat box and we will discuss it. Screen is visible, right? Please confirm. Is my screen visible to you?
Yeah, visible.
Okay, okay, great. This is the question. This is the question. Please attempt and put your answers in the chat box once you have solved it. So I'll give you 2 minutes to solve this. Then we will discuss. So anyone able to solve? Please put your answers in the chat box.
Please show the question.
Okay. Visible, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, okay. So here we have been given 6 different sentences and we are to tell the relation. What is the relation between sentence 1 and 2? Then based on that you have to mark homonymy, homophony, homonymy. out of these three, then between 3 and 4, and then between 5 and 6. So this will form one pair, this will form another pair, and this will form another pair. Based on this, you have to answer what is the lexical relation, whether it's a homonymy, homography, polysemy, or homophony. So I'll give you one hint. Homonymy is itself divided into homophony and homography. So you take this information into account when you are marking your options. So this will help you to filter out the options. So any answers in the chat box? Option B. Option B. Only option B? There can be multiple correct in this. Just have a look whether out of A, C, or D any other also satisfies or not. Just give it a try once again. I'll discuss in 2 minutes. Okay, let us discuss now. B and D, someone says. Great. Let us see if B and D satisfies. So, okay. So the question asks us to mark what is the relation between the sentences 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, taken two at a time. And what is homonymy and what is polysemy? First, let us discuss that thing. So, homonymy and polysemy. So, given any word, we can categorize it into two forms. One is orthographic. Sorry, one is the form part and one is the meaning part. What meaning does it refer to? And in form further we have whether it's an orthographic form and the phonological form. And in meaning, what is the semantic meaning of it? What does the word mean in a particular context? And in orthographic you can take such information into account. What is the spellings of the word? Okay, and in phonological, phono means here the sound, so that thing you are to take into account. So in the so this form part is mostly covered in this homonymy, and in this meaning part is a different thing. So in homonymy it is further divided into two parts, that is homophony, and another one is homography. So from homo means same, okay, and phony means sound. Is it clear to all? Homo means same and phony means sound. So here the words will have the same sound. It can or it can have or it cannot have the same meaning. Sorry, not the meaning, spelling. It can have the different spelling. Only criteria is that the sound should be same, and it will always have the different meanings. In case of homonymy, we are always going to have the different meanings of the same word. And in homography, you will have the same spelling, different sound, and different meaning. And in case of polysemy, one word but different forms. Poly means many and semi means meanings. One word can have multiple meanings. So let us see. In this case, it says the statues were cast in clay molds. Okay. So here is cast means they were kind of built. And here the Indian caste system. So we can see that both are having the different spellings, but the sound is same, caste and caste. The Indian caste system, it refers to what castes are being followed. In the earlier days, we used to have four different classes, no? Brahmins, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, like that. So that is the caste system. So here it says the Indian caste system is an example of social stratification. So we see here that the words are having the same sound. They are having different meanings. Meaning is entirely different. Also, their spelling is different, right? So this will come under the category of homonymy. And if you ask me, like, what is the more specific category that it belongs to out of homonymy is further divided into homophony and homography. We saw that homophony has the same sound but different spelling. See the definition here. So this will come under the class of homophony. So you can mark this, like, let us see, this is a potential option, and in all these cases we have the homonymy option. So this pair can be homophony and homonymy. Now this might say, see the sentence third and fourth, my dog always bark at strangers. So here this bark, what does it refer to? The sound that the dog makes. And here, what is this bark? That is a part of the tree, right? Here we see that the words are having the same sound, same spelling, but different meaning. At one part, it refers to the sound of an animal. The other place, it refers to the part of a tree. Okay. And what is polysemy? Here I told you, like, the words are having the different meaning. So to what extent this is different, that we need to know. Here, if it is the different meaning, it is entirely different. It is entirely different. In case of polysemy also, the In case of polysemy also the meaning will be different, but to a lesser extent. So we can say that they are relatively different. How? I will explain. Here if you see, it says the newspaper was delivered today. Newspaper as an article or a thing that was delivered. Here also you see the word is same. Newspaper, newspaper. It is having the exact same sound, same spelling. But why? And here if you see the newspaper in the another sentence, it says newspaper recruited a new investigative journalist. Though this newspaper and this newspaper both are same, but this newspaper here, does it refer to an article or a thing here? No, it refers to an agency as a company. The newspaper, like they could have given a name here, but more specifically it refers to what is the agency here. So we see that here they have the same sound. Word is also same. The word is exactly the same. Same sound, same spelling. Only the context is it is used that is relatively different. The newspaper agency only will deliver the newspaper as an article, right? And that agency recruited a new investigative journalist. So this first one you can classify as homonymy or homophony. The second one, can it be a homophone? Can it be a homophone? Please speak up. Anybody? Can it be a homophone? Third and fourth.
Yeah, but it has the same spelling, right? So maybe
Yes.
we can. That's why it's a homograph, is what I say. Newspaper, yeah, you can pronounce it the same way also, that way, but it has the same spelling.
Yes. So, see, we are not to go by the spelling or the sound here. Homograph, homonymy, and this polysemy that we see in terms of the form and the meaning. As I said, any word can you can classify it into two parts, either the form and the meaning. So, this form is similar here, right? In this first, second, third, fourth. In fifth, sixth, the form is not similar, the word exactly similar, only that the sense it is being used is slightly different. So this is the concept of fifth and sixth, is the concept of polysemy. One word can have multiple forms, and then this third and fourth will form the part of homography. Why? Because they are having the same sound, they're having the same spelling, but the meaning is entirely different. It is not relatively different, it is entirely different. Why? One is the sound of an animal and the other is occurring as a part of the tree. So that is homography, and the first one is the homonymy. And in that homonymy also, it is the specific category of homophony. And homography also we can classify as a homonymy, that I have written here also. So option B and D is the correct answer in this. So is it clear to all?
Yes,
So
ma'am, but does a polysemy have to be a homograph as well, in the sense the same
no,
spelling?
no, no.
Uh, the spelling is the
See,
same, the same?
the word will exactly be the same, but only the sense in which it is being used is different. Here
Okay.
it could be like, the school was painted in red, the school was heavily decorated today on account of annual function. And then another could be, there is a holiday in the school recruited 5 new faculties. So in the first case, where we say the school was heavily decorated today, that is, it is referring to school as a building, right? But in the second case, where we say that the school recruited 5 new faculties, it says the school as an organization. So the word is exactly the same. Even the sense in which it appears is same, only there is a relative difference.
Okay.
That will be the case, it is having the same form, but what is the meaning? Will be coming to its semantics. What is the meaning or the context in which it is being used? And here the very important concept in case of polysemy is that they will only be relatively different. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
But in case of homonymy, they will be entirely different.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
One quick thing on the form part, because he's given, professor has given an example of form from a dictionary,
Mm-hmm.
and then he talks about noun and other things. So, can you just elaborate a little on the form and the other thing? In a, what
So
is the other?
in
Yeah.
that case, what he refers to is like form, whether it's being used as a noun or as an adverb, based on whether what part of speech is, it can take different meanings also, right?
Yeah.
Let me give you one example.
Yeah, I'm just struggling to understand the essential difference between form and the part. I mean, what exactly constitutes a form and what is the part?
So form and the part you are asking. Part is like how we are classifying it in terms of a speech, like whether it is occurring as a noun or as an adverb or as an adjective, where based on the part of the speech it can take different forms.
Okay.
Means the meaning can change, where if in place it acts as a noun, it can refer to it can give a different meaning to that sentence, but in case it occurs as an adverb, it can give a different meaning to that sentence. That is why it is written like that will come under this category of orthographic.
Okay, you go ahead, ma'am. I think it will
Is
become
it
clear.
clear or not?
Yeah, it's sort of in the sense. Again, I'll refer back to the notes and then maybe come back to you next week. If,
Okay, okay. Okay, then let us see the next question. Here the sentence is given like, although the buttons did not look good on the shirt, the dress fits well. And here we are to tell what is the relation between these words: dress, shirt, and button. And they give the option in terms of hyponym, hypernym, and meronym. So please attempt this question and put your answers in the chat box. We'll discuss in 2 minutes. You need to establish the relation between these three words. So subsumes, what does that mean? What does hypernym, and meronym mean? Based on that, you mark the correct option. It can be single or multiple option correct. Filter it out accordingly. Multiple options can be correct for this. Let us see what is able to do. Okay. Shall I discuss? Or is anyone still attempting? Okay. So first we need to know what does this word subsumes means. Hypernym, hyponym, and meronym. So what does subsume means? Whether one thing includes the other or not. So if I am having two things like A and B, so whether B includes A or not. So in case it includes, we can say that B subsumes A. If A is a part of B, entirely contained in B, it should be like entirely contained. Then only we can say that A subsumes B. And then this hypernym and hyponym, this is a very famous relation that you need to know, that will be heavily discussed in the lecture of WordNet if you have gone through the lecture. So hypernym refers to the superclass or the parent, and hypo, it refers to the subclass or the child. So let me give you one example that will make it very clear to understand. In case I am having like let's say games, and I say football, cricket. So if you see, this games is a broader category. Okay, and then this cricket and football are more specific categories. For further examples of this game. So here you can say games is your hypernym or your superclass, and cricket or football are your subclasses or hyponym. That you need to take care, like the child or the subclass will be referred to as the hypo, and the parent or the superclass, that will be referred to as the hypernym. And what is meronym? Like if one thing is a part of the other, then we say it's a meronym. Like let's say there is this word leg, table. So table, like if we draw any table, it has four legs, right? Like this, it is having four legs. So we say that leg is a meronym of the table. Leg is a part of the table. Table is not a part of the leg. The inverse relation, if you have gone through the lecture, that will be called as the holonym. We can say that table is holonym. Holo, H-L-O, H-O-L-O, holonym of leg. And leg is meronym of table. And here we can say that game is hypernym of cricket, and cricket is hyponym of games. Okay, is it clear? And subsumes means if it is entirely, one thing is entirely contained in the other, then we say that B subsumes A. So based on this, if you see here options, dress subsumes the button. Does a dress subsume the button, or the shirt subsume the button? Whether bird is a part of the shirt, or is it a part of the dress? Is this option correct? Dress subsumes a button.
No.
Why? Because some dresses can have buttons, some dresses can be buttonless also, right? So this is wrong. Then shirt is a hyponym of button. Is like shirt is a broader category and button is just a part of the shirt or a specific category. Can it be? So the answer is no. Why? Because if we are to specify that shirt is a broader category and we are to specify like what can be its further subclasses, so it can be t-shirts or formal shirts like that. Those can be classified as its subclasses because they are more specific. But in does it necessarily it should be button? No, right? Then to like other things that are the that is just a part of the shirt. That is not necessarily a category of the subcategory of the shirt. Okay. So, but if we see this C option, dress is a hypernym of shirt. So, in case of dresses, we can have shirts, trousers, and other things. So, we can say that dress is a more broader category or a class, and shirts is a subcategory. So this is completely valid that dress is a hypernym. Whatever is the super class, super and hyper, you can remember it this way. Super, whatever is the super class or the parent class, that is referred to as the hypernym. And in case there was another option, that shirt is a hyponym of dress, that would also have been valid in this case. And the option D is like button is a maronym of shirt. So button, like on the shirt, we can have buttons, right? But button is a part of the shirt. Like leg is a part of the table. Button is a part of the shirt. So this option is also correct. Button is a maronym of shirt. So the answer is option C and D. So any doubts? You need to remember these concepts. Based on this only, you will be able to mark the options. So any doubts, anyone? Please unmute and ask. Any doubts? Please respond.
It's clear.
Okay, okay, great. Then let's move to the next question. So, this is one hypothetical word noun taxonomy that is given to us. And the first question is like you are to find the Resnick similarity between car and motor vehicle. So, for I will mark the question here itself so that you can solve it. So, between car and sorry, I think it was car and motor vehicle. So let me just erase this part. Okay. So between car and motor vehicle, find the Resnick similarity. There are different similarity measures that have been discussed in week 6 lecture 2. So apply the formula for the Resnick similarity and let me know the answer. The options are given like this: 0.948, 8.30, 9.53 and 10.57. So use this data and solve this question. I'll put the options over there only so that you can mark it easily. Not able to add it. Maybe you can just let me know whatever value you are getting here only. So you are to find the Resnick similarity between car and motor vehicle. I will write the options. So the option A is 0.948. Option B is 8.30. Option C is 9.53 and option D is 10.57. Please solve and put the answers in the chat box. We are to find the Resnick similarity. Is it question clear to all? So between these two you are to find. Let me know the answer. I'll give you 2 minutes to solve. 2 minutes more. Okay, let us see if there are any answers in the chat box. Anybody able to solve or not? 8.30. Okay, let us solve. So what is Resnick similarity? First of all, we need to know that. So Resnick similarity, it's mostly based on the lowest common subsumer. And what is the meaning of subsumer? One thing entirely contained in another. So for example, I am having A and I am having B. So B is entirely contained in A. B is entirely contained in A. So I will say that B is subsumer of A. This is the definition of subsume. But what we are to find is the Resnick similarity. So let's say I was to find the, I'll just give you an example, then we will discuss the question at hand. So let's say I was to find the this Resnick similarity between cutlery and conveyance. So I will go to what is the most common place at which they both come under. What is the most common class? What is their lowest common subsumer that can contain both of them? So here if you see in instrumentality under which conveyance is, can I classify cutlery also under that? No. Why? Because they are under two different branches, and similarly the tableware, that is a superclass of this cutlery, can I classify conveyance under that? No. Where the two of them meet is here at this point, that is artifact. And what I will do, at the lowest common subsumer, its information content, the value that this is displayed over here, whatever the lowest common subsumer that I find, that I will put as the Resnick similarity for the two. Okay, is it clear to all? How do we compute the Resnick similarity? What is the concept? Class, anybody there?
Yes.
Okay, is it clear?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, okay. So now let us discuss the question that is given. So in this, I can't find it. Okay. So now we are to find what is the Resnick similarity between car and motor vehicle. So just tell me, can motor vehicle be contained in the car? Or
It's
can
the other
car
way.
be
It's
contained
the
in
other
the
way
motor
around. Yeah.
vehicle? Yes, it's the opposite. So car, according to here, is completely contained in motor vehicle, है ना? And this is the most common subsumer that we have. Motor vehicle can be contained in itself. We know that every set is a subset of itself, right? Is it? Is it or is it not?
Right.
So if we see here, someone said that it should be 8.30. So according to them, the lowest common subsumer is the vehicle. No, that is not correct. Why? Because motor vehicle in itself, it can contain, it is the subsumer of itself. It can be totally contained in itself. And car, we are to look between these two. We are not to look what is the most common at which common point at which they both meet. That will not be the vehicle, that will be the motor vehicle itself. At this point they are meeting, so the information content for the motor vehicle I will take. So according to that, the answer will be option C, 9.53. Is it clear or any doubt?
Clear.
Okay, so I think someone said 8.30, so please correct your answer. It should be 9.53. It is like the lowest common point. This would be the second lowest point at which they are meeting. We are to take the first lowest common subsumer. First lowest, that this thing you need to keep into mind. We are to take the first lowest common subsumer. For its information content would be my Resnick similarity. Okay. Now, similar question, what is the Lin similarity between cycle and article? Next question, Lin similarity between cycle and article you are to find. So I will write, or maybe I'll draw the diagram over there. Wait. So you are to find now the Lin similarity between cycle and article, and your options are as follows: 0.226, 0.452, 8.55, or none of the above. Give it an attempt and we will discuss in 2 minutes. You are to find the Lin similarity between cycle and article. Same figure, you have to refer. Cycle is here and article is here. Just apply the formula for the length similarity and put your answers in the chat box, whatever you are getting. I would encourage everyone to give it a try. This will help us know how far we are understanding the concepts discussed in the class. Please, everyone, give it a try. Someone already said 8.30. Okay. I think, is it for the previous question or this question? Because 8.30 is not in the options. Maybe it was for the previous question. Okay. Okay, so please give this a try. This is your question number 4. You have to compute the length similarity between cycle and article. Put your answers in the chat box. Between the cycle. Okay. Maybe cycle and article. This value is the information content. IC refers to the information content. For cycle, the information content is 10.35. Do not take it as 9.86. Put your answers in the chat box. Solve it quickly and put your answers in the chat box. IC is equivalent to taking negative log of the probability of something. Just remember this.
What is IC for cycle?
IC for cycle is 10.35. Is it not clear?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. See, it's 10.35. For article, it's 5.26. Clear, or shall I enlarge the figure?
It's clear.
Okay, great. Unmute and tell what answer you are getting for the length similarity between cycle and article. If anybody able to solve, please unmute and tell which of the 4 options you are getting.
Option B.
Option B, okay. So let us solve. Or anybody still solving, let me know. Okay, I think most of them have solved. Okay, let us discuss how we can do this. So what is the formula for length similarity? Let us have a look at that first. So length similarity. Let's say I was given cycle and I was given article, and I have there something like lowest common subsumer as we did earlier. So let's say this I classified as C1, article I classify as C2, and whatever is their lowest common subsumer, I call it as C3. Okay. So according to, if I take all these things into account, what my formula for length similarity tells me, that is 2 times the information content of LCS of C1 comma C2 upon information content of C1 plus information content of C2. This IC of LCS of C1 comma C2, that I can call as information content of, according to the notation that I have given, I will call it as the information content of C3. So my formula becomes like 2 times information content of C3 upon information content of C1 plus information content of C2. Okay, so let us just put the values. So if we go back to the figure, what is the lowest common subsumer for cycle and article? Lowest,
Artifact.
huh? Sorry?
Artifact.
Artifact, correct. That is artifact, and what is its value? That is 3.53. That is the information content. This will become my C3 here, artifact. This is my C1 cycle, and this is my C2, that is article. So I'm just gonna plug in the values, which is 2 into information content of C3. C3 का information content is 3.53 upon information content of C1, that is 10.35. Information content of cycle, that is 10.35, plus information content of C2, that is article. What is its information content? 5.26. If you solve this, you will get the value as 7.06 divided by 15.61. That comes out to be 0.452. So the correct option will be option B. This is your answer. And why I call it as C1, C2 and C3? Here C1, C2, C3. This refers to the concepts. Okay. Is it clear? Lin similarity, everyone? This is the formula that we used. 2 times the information content of LCS C1 comma C2, information content of C1 plus information content of C2. Is it clear to all?
Yes.
Great. Just solve this question fast. We have 5 minutes left. 2 minutes I'll give you to solve this. So now you are to find the Jiang-Conrath distance between object and cutlery. I'll copy this figure for you here. Just a second. Is it fine if I take 2 minutes extra today? I hope you guys are not having a follow-up class after this. Anybody having a follow-up class after this?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, okay. Just we'll solve this question. So, what is object? They say we are to find the Jiang Conrath. Also, we call it as JC. But remember that this is the distance and not the similarity. You should know what is the different formula for the distance and the similarity in this case. So you are to find between object and cutlery. Where is cutlery? Here. So solve it. In 2 minutes I'll give you. Put your answers in the chat box. Let us see. Again, you can make use directly of this information content values everywhere. Object and cutlery. Take this as C1, C2. Take this as C1. Take this as C2. You might need to use again the concept of LCS. I have given you all the hints. Just put the values and get the answer. Remember, we are to find the distance, not the similarity. Based on that only you mark the correct option. Also in exam and when you are solving the assignments, be very careful whether they are asking the distance or the similarity. So anybody able to solve? Option A, somebody says. Okay, great. Shall I discuss? Or anybody still solving? Okay, I'll go ahead. So let's say in this case, I call C0, C1 and C2. C0 is my lowest common subsumer. C1 is my object. This is my C1 object. And cutlery is my C2. Concept 2. This is cutlery. So what does the formula for Jiang-Cornath distance says is, it is like the information content of C1 minus C0 plus information content of C2 minus C0. So first task is I need to find what is my C0, C1 and C2. What is the C0 here? That is the lowest common subsumer. Can you tell me between object and cutlery which is the lowest common subsumer? Where do both the points meet?
Artifact. No, no, it's
Is it
the
artifact?
art. Cutlery and object. So it
Object.
is object itself, right?
Yes, so people who were getting confused earlier were marking here option as 8.30. Now you get to know why we said that motor vehicle is the lowest common subsumer from this example. Is it clear to all?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that was one objective of discussing this question. So now let us solve this question. Here, both my C0 is also this. Object is my C0 in this case. That is the lowest common subsumer. Please somebody, I think my voice is echoing. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you. So here my LCS is C0, that is the object itself. So C1 and C0 is equivalent in this case. C0 is equivalent to C1, that is object. What was my Jiang-Corrieth distance formula? That is information content of C1 minus C0 plus information content of C2 minus C0. But what did I observe? That C1 is equivalent to C0. So C0 minus C0, this thing is ruled out. We are only left with this. So what is the information content between C2 minus C0? What is my C2? Cutlery. So this will become information content of C2 minus information content of C0. So what is the information content of C2? C2 is what? Cutlery. This value is 9.72. And what is the information content of C0? That is object. That is 2.79 here. So I'll just put this value 9.72 minus 2.79. If you will solve it, it comes out to be 6.93. That is option A. All the people who put their answers in the chat box were correct. The answer is option A, 6.93. Is it clear to all?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, in the notes, in the lecture notes, there is no concept of C0, right? It's just C1, C2.
Yeah, it's just a notation to help you to easily remember the formulas.
Yeah, no, what I'm trying to say is here we are talking about three conceptual
Uh-huh.
entities.
Yes.
There we have only two conceptual entities.
So why we are calling it as C0? This is your lowest common subsumer, right?
Yeah, and it's the same actually.
Yeah, it's just the same. You can call C0 as C1, concept 2 as C1 as C2. That's just a notation.
Yeah, no, I actually understood this question and this discussion. What I was trying to check is since you introduced the concept of a C0, is there a possibility of something like, say, article coming into picture as a lower level subsumer, and also we look at a higher level subsumer
No,
at the
no,
same
no.
time?
It's
It's
always
one.
a high level subsumer that you look at.
Okay.
Yeah, no, nothing like one thing can come. I'm sorry if this notation confused you. I just took it for simplification purpose.
Okay, got it. No
Yeah,
problem.
okay. Anybody else? Any questions or any doubts? Please feel free to ask. And also I'll be uploading this question this today's discussion on this channel. So you can refer back if you need to, and in case you have any doubts, you can write to me at this email address. Okay, I had three more questions to discuss, but we are running short of time. So, okay, thank you all. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.